Today we are doing spoiler reviews for episodes 5 and 6 of Obi Wan Kenobi. The series has just ended, and we have some thoughts. All right, I'm joined by a very special guest today, Mr. Patrick Bates. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me again.
No worries. Thank you very much for joining. Rightio. Well, where do you want to begin? What's the first thing you want to talk about?
I don't know. Do you want to start with episode 5, or maybe do an overview of the whole season first, and then go a bit more into specifics later?
Yeah, sure. Overall, I thought the season was a disappointment. I thought that they finally got the formula right with the 6th episode, but it was such a good finale that you just wonder why they couldn't reach those heights in any of the other 5 episodes. And I don't think it's a coincidence that this is my favorite episode, and I think it's also the longest of the season. And I think that time that they gave to the stories and the scenes that they had really helped it out. What about you?
Yeah, I was looking at sort of the reviews and sort of the Rotten Tomatoes, and a lot of them seemed, for this series, I think it was about 8 out of 10 and around that level. And I was thinking, that's maybe a bit generous, maybe sort of 7-ish for me. I think sort of if you asked me right at the beginning, the first few episodes, I think was sort of maybe a bit lower, and it sort of built towards the end. But yeah, I mean, I don't feel I've lost time by watching it, but yeah, it was okay, but not great.
Yeah. Apparently the cast and the crew want to do a second season, and I think where they left the series off, it's got enough momentum to have a really good second season, and hopefully they learn from any mistakes that that fans said that they made that they choose to listen to.
Yeah.
I definitely think the pacing.
Yeah, I think similarly it's sort of set up now for a second season, if they choose to do one, because it sort of got it in the right frame of mind, where sort of we know who everyone is and what they're doing and what their motivations are now. So let's go on some adventures now.
Yeah, I'm particularly interested. By the way, we're going to go straight into spoilers. I'm particularly interested to see where they take the Reva character, because I think that the story that they gave her in the last couple of episodes made her way more interesting than she had been leading up to there. And I still liked her as a character throughout the whole season. But I think they rushed a lot of her story, like telling her backstory, and that they crammed a lot of that character development into the last 2 episodes. So I think her turn when she was hunting Luke and she had him at her mercy, and she suddenly made the turn to not kill him anymore. I understand the reasoning behind that. I just think the whole thing was a little bit rushed, so it seemed a little bit forced and sort of just done to get it out of the way, and now she can begin her next journey.
Yeah, and I definitely think that's one of the characters I think looking forward to seeing what happens next. And in that episode 5, when we sort of found out that she was one of those younglings from the very beginning, and she's actually doing all of this to get close to Vader to try and kill him and get revenge, I thought was a good plot development, and sort of something I didn't see coming, and was this is a bit cool. And then that fight scene between her and Vader just sort of really showed how Vader had all the power and she had nothing. No proper training.
Vader was a boss in the lightsaber battles he had in this season. It just goes to show how the stakes were upped in his final fight with Obi-Wan, that he actually used 2 hands on the lightsaber then, because previously he was just swashing that thing around with one hand, and he was being all casual and stuff. But I thought,
fight with Reva, he didn't even draw his own lightsaber. He was that much outclassing her that much that sort of he didn't even feel the need to draw his own weapon. He just sort of disarmed her and used her own one against her.
Yeah, the portrayal of Vader was really, really cool throughout the whole season. I thought, yeah, like you, that scene between Reva and Obi-Wan on either side of that blast door was one of the best scenes in the whole season.
Yeah.
It was it was followed by a really weird, like typical stormtrooper not being able to shoot anything scene where, I mean, they clearly outnumbered the rebels on the other side of that blast door, but for the life of them, they could not hit a bloody target.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost that the meme now. It's they can't hit anyone, but I mean, they were sort of standing 2 meters away from people.
I know,
and to be honest, I don't know what stormtrooper armor does. Like, sort of, they're getting a single hit from a blaster and going down, yet sort of.
Yeah, and they can be slapped on the head with like a bare hand. So I think Tala did that. Tala did that when they were aboard the Fortress Inquisitorius. I love that name. That's so stupid. I love it. Yeah, she just slapped a stormtrooper across the head, and they just fell to the ground. So maybe we should give them the benefit of the doubt. They know that we know, and all that kind of thing, and now it's just a joke for people to laugh at. But I actually think it would have been pretty powerful for like Obi-Wan and Reva to call off the troops on their respective sides and just make it between them, and she can, chase him or whatever. It would have made it a little like smaller scale, but I think a little more believable. Those poor stormtroopers.
Yeah, there was a bit of a sense of disbelief in that fight. Sort of, 20 people standing in the same hallway, and sort of not many people were dying.
Now, at the end of episode 5, when Reva saw that recording from Bail Organa, I don't know about you, but I didn't immediately understand that she was then going to go. Well, I understand why she wanted to go and try to kill Luke. What were you thinking in that moment? To me, it was a bit unclear.
Yeah, I mean, did she even know that who Leia was in terms of her connection to Vader, and that's why, or is it? I don't know how she would know that, or how she would know that Luke's important, or I don't know. Maybe she just saw it and thought, well, this might be some other way of getting revenge, but I don't know how that would connect to Vader.
Yeah, but, I wish, but I think she was trying to get revenge on Obi-Wan at that point, wasn't she? Because she sort of confronted Vader and been outclassed, and now she just wanted a chance to hurt Obi-Wan, and she knew just from the vague messages that Bail Organa left that on Tatooine there was a guy named Owen protecting a boy. I don't know.
That maybe makes sense. The way Vader said, "Oh, Obi-Wan was wise to use you against me." Maybe, she then does harbor some resentment to Obi-Wan. But I mean, I've got to say that drop the ball, Bail Organa. I mean,
the true villain of the series.
Every possible piece of information he could put in it. I mean, Obi-Wan would know who he's talking about. It's like, oh, I'll take care of the boy if I don't hear from you. Would have left no plot clues, but we'll go to Tatooine. You'd have to know Owen.
Yeah, you thought at that point. So when Vader was saying that to Reva about Obi-Wan using her against him, so that's what you reckon? Because I think, because I thought, is she mad at him for failing like the Jedi Order and letting Order 66 happen? Because that's another reason. But again, this just speaks to how unclear and probably rushed the development on her side was. But I still think she acted the part really, really well, even in the episodes where she wasn't a very strong character. I think Moses Ramsey, I think her name is, did a really good job.
Excellent acting.
At the start of the sixth episode, so Reva was already on Tatooine, but the destroyer was still chasing
still chasing the others.
The time frame
at all.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That wasn't just me.
I mean, I suppose you could say it happens afterwards because she waits till night to attack the thing. So maybe it's just sort of a bit out of sync with the other story, and it's sort of as Obi-Wan's Vader fight line up. But the way it was shot, it seemed like, yeah, she was there instantaneously. And
yeah. Very funny. But I guess they do have light speed, so, and the Star Destroyer would have been busy with Obi-Wan and the other and that ship. Yeah. I think it was like Ewan McGregor just did a fantastic performance throughout the whole season. I thought he really came into his own, even more so in the last episode. And that fight between him and Vader was amazing. I love that so much.
Yeah, really epic. Yeah, it reminded me a lot of the way the scene was set up. Have you ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender?
I have, yes.
The final battle between Aang and the Fire Lord, sort of on those pillars of stone, and sort of doing the earth bending to shoot the rocks at each other.
Yeah, vaguely.
Him shooting rocks at him, and it just reminded me a lot of that. But
it
was an epic fight.
The film.
No, God, no. No, I'd need a lobotomy to be reminded of that.
Yeah,
but it was epic. And when Vader had part of his mask blown out and sort of interaction, it was. Yeah,
what I've seen online,
I think that's what everyone was waiting for.
Yeah. It gave Hayden Christensen another chance to do a bit of acting, bit of face acting, and I thought the look in his eye was amazing. And that's an homage to an episode in Rebels, I think, when he and Ahsoka are fighting. I haven't seen Rebels; I've just seen online that that's what happened. After Obi-Wan and he have that exchange about like, you didn't fail me, or you didn't kill me. You didn't kill Anakin, I did. Yeah. So that absolves Obi-Wan of all his guilt, right? Okay. He still leaves Vader there. He still lets him live. I didn't understand that. I mean, that absolving yourself of that guilt doesn't change the threat level that Vader poses to the entire galaxy. So why wouldn't you just go over and
So I think the main answer for that is obviously, like what's happened with all of Star Wars, is sort of, it's all been done out of order, and we see Vader later, so we knew neither of them was going to die. So the stakes couldn't have been lower for this. But sort of before, when he's on the ship and he's like, "Oh, I'll kill him if I have to," type of thing, and like that's when he still thinks of him. That part of him's Anakin, part of him's his friend, and then he says, "Oh well, my friend is truly dead. Goodbye, Darth." And he's like, "Well, if your friend's dead, then kill this guy who's your enemy."
Yeah.
There's no need to keep him around. If you were working yourself up to kill your friend, take care of this guy. How many more people is he going to slaughter?
Exactly. It's it's inexplicable, but it does marry up nicely to what Obi-Wan says to Luke in A New Hope, saying that his father was killed by Darth Vader. I like how that all sort of ties up. That's really good. Yeah,
it also matches in episode 4 when he's fighting him, because it's sort of Darth is a generic term that all of the Sith have, so it's sort of saying like Mr. or something like that. But that when he's fighting him on the Death Star, before he turns into a Force ghost at the end in episode 4, he calls him Darth again. So it's sort of marrying the two up again.
Yeah, very good. Very good. I like that. And it was an epic fight. I think it was the best shot fight of the whole season. And it was good. And that stance that Obi-Wan does, the whole
the arm over shoulder,
that thing. Yeah, that's really good.
He means business with that.
Yeah, he did that in episode 3, didn't he? When he was fighting Grievous. Yeah.
Yeah. It's heaps of callbacks, like when he says, "I'll do what I must."
Yes.
Before he fights Anakin on Mustafar in episode 3, and then of course right at the end with the "hello there."
Yeah, wasn't that cool?
Plenty of fan service. Yeah,
that was great. Yeah, so Yeah, it's good if they leave it here at one season. That ending, especially that last line. The last line to Luke, and then the last shot with him and Qui-Gon, who finally shows up, which is cool. That leaves it off on a good note, and then we can just imagine what adventures Obi-Wan went on from there. But again, it does leave enough room to come back for a second season. So I do hope they come back for a second season, and I hope that the production isn't as interrupted as this one was, because I think this one they had to rewrite the whole thing. Maybe after Solo came out and wasn't that much of a success, they changed it from being just a movie to being a limited series.
Yeah. What did you think of in episode 5 the flashback scene with the duel and that sort of narrative piece through the the episode?
I thought Hayden Christensen did a really good job of that, and I was surprised, but pleasantly so, that they didn't de-age either of them, because that would have been going back 20 years or something. No, maybe 15 years, maybe.
Yeah, he did seem sort of obviously 20 years younger, and it wasn't like a blatant CG messing with faces and stuff. But I thought it wasn't unbelievable that he was the age he was, but sort of if you looked close, you could see it. But no, it was good. I really thought that sort of that narrative through the arc of that episode really worked well.
Yeah, and it was good because every time they sort of cut from Anakin's face to Darth's face, you could tell what he was thinking, even though we couldn't see his face. I thought that that was great, and it was a cool little fight. And I noticed, because that would have been sort of Attack of the Clones era, I'm assuming. Yeah, and I noticed they didn't go quite back to the mullet that Ewan McGregor had in that film, which is good, but they it was reminiscent of it, which is nice.
It was good.
Yeah.
What about that scene at the end of episode 5 where Vader pulls the ship down from the sky and rips it up?
That was an amazing show of power, but he let the other ship go away.
I know. It's almost that narrative trope where it's this epic story and then the character woke up and it was all a dream. Yeah. It's like, you just saw him do something epic, and then the other ship gets away. Could he not have just gone and pulled that down too? Yeah,
I mean, if they showed him like hunched over or something, or kind of wiping his brow if he was tired after pulling down the other ship, then maybe he could get away with it. But he was just like, there you go. I did like the way he ripped apart that first ship, though. That was
I mean, the scene was epic. So next on my notes, I've got, and it's a big hate of mine from the newest Star Wars movies. It's the slow speed chases that they love doing. Where, we can't jump to hyperspeed, but it's following us and shooting at us, and I don't know how long our lasers will hold out.
Yeah.
And the real thing that bugged me, it's Obi-Wan's got out of this giant ship that fit inside this tiny one somehow, and he's flying off this way. Could Vader just not jump in his ship, and then the Star Destroyer keep on following them and bombarding them and finishing them off?
True. Yes. Yeah. But he didn't have time to think about that. He was overcome with rage. Vader, poor Vader. That's always his downfall.
Overcome with rage, and then at the end, the Emperor's like, "Nah, don't do it anymore," and he's like, "Okay."
Yep. I wonder if they do come back for a second season, if they will bring Vader back, because the two characters are kind of tethered to each other a lot. But I would be quite happy to not see Vader in the second season.
Yeah, it may be a here and there thing. But I think sort of the Obi-Wan Vader story's been done. Done in this one, and like with the Emperor says, "Oh no, you don't need to focus on that anymore," and it's like, okay. So I think if it does come back, it'll be Obi-Wan helping people, because now he's got his mojo back. Yeah,
I hope if Darth does come back in the second season, it's not like a Dr. Claw and Inspector Gadget sort of shaking his fist at him every time he gets away. Yeah. But apparently Hayden Christensen is coming back for the Ahsoka series, which is coming out next year. And I haven't seen Rebels, but they have a real rivalry going on there. Have you watched that series?
I haven't. No.
Yeah,
It's on my list.
In episode 4, did Uncle Owen have a limp?
I can't remember. It's a possibility.
Yeah, I think I somehow recall that being the case, and if so, they they went to great lengths to explain the limp. But I really like that because again, it just bridges more of that gap between this era in Star Wars and A New Hope. But yeah, Owen and Beru were great, and they almost got her. They were
almost
pretty close. Yeah. Yeah. So overall, I'm glad I watched the series. I guess I'm really happy with where it left off, but kind of makes me feel a little bit empty for the other 5 episodes that happened. Maybe not so much episode 5. That was pretty good, but
yeah, I think 5 and 6 were the peak, and sort of
yeah.
Like you say, if it had been the other way around, it started good and then went downhill, I think we'd be a little less favourable. But I same as you.
Yeah, I think maybe in a few months I'll go back and watch the whole thing again and just see if it all flows a little bit better if you binge it. But Disney Plus are going to stick with this weekly release schedule, so hopefully they can better serve that schedule going forward. But yeah, overall I would give this season about a 3.5 out of 5. I thought it was worth watching. Nothing overly special, but the end of the season gives me great hope for season 2 if that happens.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. About the same. Yeah, about 7. I'd say 7 out of 10 or 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, very, very satisfied where it ended.
All right. Have you got anything else to
add? Just looking at my list, I think, the only other little nitpick I had was just in the scene where it was the flashback of Order 66, he didn't have his Sith eyes then, the yellow eyes, which I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure in episode 3 he did have them then.
He had them on Mustafar, didn't he?
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure.
I thought there was a scene of him like walking in with the clone troopers, and he had them there, but I could be wrong. But apart from that, that's my last little nitpick.
Well, let's check on that as well, and we'll put the answer down here.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me tonight, Patrick. I hope everyone watching this. That's all right. We shall discuss further things in the future, I'm sure.
No doubt.
Thanks everyone for watching this video, and in the comments below, please let us know what you thought about these last 2 episodes and also the season as a whole, and if you think they'll come back for season 2, and if so, where you hope that season goes as well. So please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and we'll see each other again very soon. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.